Woo-wee, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day, Donnie B all day. So, I got a box from Scab in that contained my stuff. He sent me back my knives and all my D-bad stuff that I sent him out to use, and he decided to send me something to play with too. You know what this is, right? An empty box, because it's sitting right there. So this is the Medford Praetorian T in S90V. And you can tell S90V from the D2 steel stuff that you find everywhere because there is a little 9 right there instead of a D. So you can really see what that is. Now, I'm going to give a pretty fair assessment to what I think about this knife, even though it's used. Normally, I don't give a fair assessment on, a full assessment on a knife that's used because it's not really fair to the knife to judge it not in its brand new condition. But I really wanted to check one of these out, so I'm going to check some boxes. Remember, I give an honest take on what I think about these knives. Every knife that comes my way, I give an honest feeling of what I see. I'm not out here to not hurt feelings or to tell people what they want to hear. If there's something I don't like about it, I'm going to tell you. So let's get into it. Now, at first glance, hold on, let me adjust you guys. At first glance, I say, that thing looks awesome. At second glance, I still agree. It's really cool looking, man. This knife is really cool looking. And the thing is, it's made of really good steel. It's got really good components. And it's got really good geometry and ergonomics. The handle, for me, just for me, if you have shorter fingers than I do, you're going to love this. For me, the handle is a little too thin in here. I'm just wrapped all the way around it to where my fingers are actually folded in on themselves. But I can adjust it easily to make it extremely comfortable. Now, if I take something next to me, like here is the Essia Vispa, you'll notice, like, my finger, it's kind of hard to tell, but this finger right here is completely tucked in. This one is completely tucked in. This one, it's resting right there. You see how much farther, like if I open up my thumb? So you can see where, like, on a very thin blade, how I can fit my hand really properly on certain knives. And it's not to knock this one by any means. Even if I took the Sumo, right? I get the same thing as I get with the Essie. It's just all in the grip of where it lies. Forgot how it works. All in the grip of just where my fingers press in. And it's only this area right here that's a little thin. The rest of it is actually not thin. So if I give a full grip, and I think that it's because of the dip. Like if there was no hump here and it just kind of went straight in, I don't think that would be noticeable, or I don't think I would find that spot because I wouldn't have the different degree. It's like my first two fingers really fall into here where these ones are left up top. You can see, well, not right there, but you can see, there we go. Look at the difference in how much lower these two knuckles are, right? Instead of having this, I'm having that, right? So these two fingers are way higher perched than these two fingers. I don't care. It's not any kind of game changer for me because most of the time I'm using a knife, I'm doing it like this anyway. So that would really not hinder me at freaking all. So, but for people with really long fingers, like if you're in the NBA and you know, you palm space shuttles, then your fingers are going to feel a little too long for this, but you're probably still going to like it. The only other thing I found, besides like almost because it's all steel, it's just, I mean, everything about it is just wonderful steel. I mean, wonderful. It's either titanium or something. The only thing it gives you is because you have that metal on metal feel to the skin. It almost feels like it's cheap, but it's absolutely not. This thing is dope. So you might get that, you know, you can get a gas station knife that's just, it's all metal handle and you can tell it's cheap. You have the metal feeling, but without the cheap. It's kind of, it's hard to explain. It feels like it's not cheap and feels cheap at the same time, but in a really, really weird way. And outside of that, and it may just be this one, the frame lock sticks like crazy. It's a struggle to go from, I mean, I'm not worried about it accidental open on me. No way in hell. But watch, I'm going to press my thumb. Oh, you hear that? That was the sound of the lock releasing. And it could be because Scab uses this almost daily. So this thing is getting a beating, right? So there's a really good chance it has nothing to do with the knife. It's just the fact that it's used a lot. And for a knife that's used a lot, I have to say that this is in great condition, which means this is a really great knife. So let's get into some of the other things. It's got like a skull crusher on here, right here, like a little hammer. It's really, really well done. It's tapered and contoured. It's very, very nice. You do have a lanyard hole there. You have a stubby but thick and really cool pocket clip. Normally, I like those long pocket clips. I really like this. That's kind of a nice pocket clip. I like the design on it. I like that it's screwed in all the way. They leave the frame empty, no spine. Therefore, the weight's not going to be all crazy because you do have this big hunk of steel right here, and that would really change some things. You have jimping, or what most people would think is jimping, but what you have here is craters, and they are awesome. I mean, it's just, they're so deep, but they're not to the point where they're unusable. You put your hand on there, and you can see where the jimping on here lines up to the jimping on there, and it just goes across, and it is perfect. And it gives you some really, really firm thumb holds, which I like. I really, really like that. If you are using it and you're moving your hand all like this, then you're going to go, oh my God, I got hot spots. Don't do that. Don't be an idiot. Just put your finger on it, your thumb on it, and if you have any kind of man skin, then you're going to feel pretty good because those are nice. Anybody can tell by D-Bad Designs, I am a huge fan of deep, big, fat fullers. Skinny little fullers do nothing aesthetically. I think they look stupid. These are so well dug in there. I am that's a word. I am quite impressed with that. You have these 4 grooves right here. I'm guessing if you're a right-handed person, those matter. I am a left-handed person. They don't. But even when I hold it in my right hand, they don't really do anything. It could be just for design purposes. I am finding it doing nothing for my hand in any grip, but who cares because I still have a really good grip. How good of a grip do you have? I can't turn it in my hand, and there's no wobble at all. Another thing I noticed is it sits dead nut. It sits dead nut. That is great. So now here's a goofy thing. It has thumb studs, but look where the thumb studs are. They're actually behind. They're grooved in here, so you can't use the thumb studs to open the knife at all. So what happens is you can use your thumb and finger. You can do a pinch. You can still open it with one hand, easy. But you can pinch here and then transfer to the thumb grip if you want. I'm wondering if they use the thumb grip more as a stopper. You can see these holes right here. So when it hits, it stops and it keeps the edge from going down and hitting the end of that frame right there. That's the only thing I can think of that they would add those for, because they have no purpose outside of that. You get all you need from right here. That's it. That groove right there is all you need. And because it's oval, I will try and show you. You can start here and slide your thumb up, and so you have more range for your thumb to travel. Now, this edge is used. You can see Scab uses this a lot. And so right here, you have a rounded tip. I was looking at them more closely, and they don't have rounded tips. It's just the fact that this knife gets used. It gets used so much, in fact, that the tip was made rounded from so much sharpening from the fact that it's used. I was looking for a tape measure, can't find it. I don't know all the specs on this. I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice to read them, but I thought I had a tape measure, so I was just going to give it to you. No idea what I did with it. So it's this big. I think it's 9 open is somewhere in there, and It's fat, it's thick, it's wide, it's long. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I really like this grind right here. This beautiful, deliberate grind is just so nicely done. It's set into the steel the way it should be. I like that. But what I need to do is get out and play with it. First things first, I'm going to put just a little bit of an edge on it. And we are going to try and keep it as close to spec. Now, I think Scab used either a 20 or a 25. So I'm going to measure that up. And I think he may have used a 20. So we are going to break out the Lansky. I'm going to give it a little sharpening. And then we're going to go out and play with it. Hold on. Oh, did I just hit it twice? I did. Oh, yeah. You see all that crop dust right there? Oh, man. That means that edge came out really, really nice. Really, really nice. So now I feel really confident in the fact that this thing is going to be a cutter like no other. So I need to wash some of that steel dust off my hands, and we will get out there and use this little guy right here. Man, I have to say I'm digging it. I'm digging it. It's so far pretty cool. It's got a hollow grind. I didn't realize that until I started feeling it out, and I said, "Ooh, it's kind of nice." It's got it's just a knife made to cut, which means we're not going to chop. This is not my knife. We're not going to break it on the guy. We are not going to like baton anything, and we're not going to cut anything like, you know, crazy. All right, now that Scab's not watching, we're going to go baton some crap and cut some crazy stuff, and whew, maybe we'll even chop with it. Woohoo, let's go play. All right, so a little bit of work has been happening around here. Shelly has been kicking butt getting some of the stuff done. I had to cut down a bunch of trees with some knives, and oh, there's a new member of the family right here. Look at my limo. It's not a real limo, but it's like an executive limo. Man, my town car, I was searching for weeks for this car. 69,000 original miles. Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what that means. That car is a 2001. I mean, no, sorry, 2000, all zeros. That's a 2000. It's 69,000 miles on it. That means from 2000 to now, that car averaged 1 mile a day. 1 mile a day. That's all it was ever used. It's impeccable. The inside, there's no wrinkles in the seat. You know, you can get those big lines. None of that. It's just awesome. But today it's about 6,000 degrees. We're supposed to be getting that hurricane, but we are probably going to get like a bunch of wind. I think it's going to hit Boston. So let's get into this guy right here. Start by cutting that stuff down so you guys can see it. Bada boom, bada bing. How easy is that? That's the small stuff. Look at how milky what I just cut down was. I don't know if you guys could even see that, but it is just milky all over the blade. All right, so let's do some 4-foot drops. We'll see how the balance is on this guy. It's dead straight. Dead straight. Couple hard downward throws. We'll see if anything loosens. Couple hard downward throws. That one, I went to pick it up. I picked it up so fast it flew out of my hand. There we go. Did you hear that ting? That's the titanium. Bam. All right. Downward throws are good. It has good bite. Let's see. There's no loosening. Nothing of that nature. Let's see if we can't get a push cut. Remember, this is not the factory edge. This is a very used edge that I just sharpened up a little bit. And I have to say I must have done a pretty good job, because that was a pretty sweet cut. Let's see. Man, I'm so happy Scab let me use this. Man, and I'm so happy you guys helped out getting the Scab to 2,000. Next is 5,000 for ChoirBoyz Cutlery. No doubt about that. Let's give this thing a little who's your daddy. Oh, look at that. I just took off literally like a millimeter of it, maybe 2 millimeters. Just caught it, but let's see. It was an absolute clean cut, and there is Nothing in the edge that says it went through any kind of copper or anything like that. Let's see. Here's a big piece that with the knot in it. I wonder. Oh, I wonder. Now remember, this is a folding knife, so this is not going to be your batoning knife. But, you know, if you happen to be out there in the woods stuck and it's all you have, you got to make sure that it's going to cruise straight through a knot. Ooh-wee. No wobbling. No, let's see, no junk on the edge. The edge is super pretty still. The edge is super pretty still. Ooh-wee. All right, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try to do a quick one right here. Not too fast, not too slow, but I wanna get all the points across in this knife. But I mean, at a price range, you know, anywhere between what are these, between $2,000 and $1,000, you know what I mean, for the different models. You can be guaranteed you're probably getting a pretty good knife, right? So, I mean, that's going to be a given. Look at this. Here's the thing with the ergonomics, and this is one of those things where I'm really tucking my fingers under. Even though my thumb's on top, you can see where it's riding on the spine. See, get you guys a little closer, maybe get that glare out of there. It's making for a really good ergonomic hold. So things like feather sticking, obviously, you can see, is quite simple. Let's dig that in. We'll do some pulls, and magnificent. Magnificent. That edge must be working. I don't know who did that. Let's do some controlled with the side grip. Now, here's a good thing. This groove right here is amazing for the side grip because the thumb just lays right in it. Now, if you need really tight curls, you see we got the swoops. Now we'll get the curls. This is what this grip does, man. This is what this grip does. Look at this. Look at this. So we went from swoops to curls. Look at how fine. This thing will light up easy. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Let's see if we can just do a little kindling smash here. There we go. There we go. Oop, I dropped it. There we go. I caught the edge. There we go. Not so bad. Now that I'm closer to this and I'm yelling, you guys are probably having to shut off your volumes. All right, so we know it'll cut. We know it'll do all that jazz. Let's see here. Let's see here. We got some plastic. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna shave down that plastic without an issue. Look at that. Look at that. A couple little slices there. I mean, without an issue. Oh, there's a lot of water in that tire, which means if I stab down on it, I'm probably gonna get splashed, and that'll suck. All for science. Oh, let's see. Oh, all right. Well, it definitely cut and lacerated. It didn't dig all the way through, but I got about a 1/4 inch in. You can see, I want to get you guys nice and close to get a good look at that. Oh, actually, okay, now you don't have to. That one actually punctured pretty well. So, you know, you got crappy neighbors, ba-boom. So, this guy right here is going to do the trick. This will definitely do the trick. Let's see. We got the wheelbarrow. Oh, good, that wasn't a piece of the knife. All right, so a piece of the wheelbarrow flew off. I said, oh, what was that? So it didn't go all the way through, hard hits, but it made some really, really nice puncture marks. Now remember, this tip is not the stock tip. This is a rounded tip. So it's definitely different than you would see stock. I have no doubts that stock would just scream right through it. Let's see here. Bam, bam, bam. Ma'am, it's a bam. All right, so, whew, I'm sweating like crazy, guys. Let's see here. Let's get that one off of there. And let's just, oh, pretty. Oh, pretty. Oh, pretty. So that's just nice. it's going to shave, it's going to get all your needs for, you know, hot dog sticks and pit spikes and camp spikes and, you know, anything that you're going to need, tent spikes or whatever you're going to build. If you're whittling, I can see, even though it's a wide blade, I can see this being your first blade as a whittler to get a lot of material gone at once. I can definitely see that as your go-to first blade. I mean, without a doubt. It's like a Rambo movie, first blade. Rambo, first blade. All right, so here's the chopping we're not going to do with it. I'm going to hold it way at the end. Luckily, it's got this really crisp uptick right here in the heel, and that gives me a whole lot of area to be able to grab and, as you can see, get solid strikes with. So remember, it doesn't have to be machete size to be able to hit with. It just has to be made right. This one is made to a way where no matter what, it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. All right. Huzzah. Huzzah. I mean, just nice. Just nice. I have to say that when I first saw it, I said, holy crap, I must have one of those. I freaking love it. When I first held it, I went, maybe it's not as good as I thought. When I first used it, I said, holy crap, I so badly need one of those. This is a good knife. This is a really good knife. You know, I mean, they say looks can be deceiving, but so can first impressions. First impressions can be very deceiving, because I'm not going to lie, when I first grabbed it, when I first held it, I said, it's okay. It's just okay. And the more I put it in my hand and the more I use it and the more I figure out angles, uses, like real world knife use, it changes the game on this thing. Just holding it like it's going to be my combat knife gives me a feeling that's a whole lot different than holding it like it's going to be a knife I'm going to use. I have to say that that's really good. Now, as far as the lock, there we go. Maybe I loosened it up a little bit by banging on it, but that one opened a lot easier than it was inside. Maybe it's just by one, because right now, I can't get it. I can't get it. I'm going to have to, so I'm really going to have to press on that because I can't unlock it. Well, I can, most likely, but it's going to be a pain in the nuggets because it is stuck. I think it depends on how hard you open it is going to be how hard it takes to close it, because snapping it open, I think the frame is going too far in, and it's creating that issue. So I really need to probably just grab a stick and bang on the lock. We're gonna bang on your lock all day, and get it closed, which I will do. There we go. So snapping it open, that made it really freaking difficult to open it. Now let's try the gentleman's approach. And I put my thumb on the lock when I open it. I put my thumb right in the frame. So now when I close it, it closes a lot easier. So I think the veracity and ferocity you open this thing by snapping it, I think that frame just wants to go way in. But doing it gentle, especially if I put my thumb on it and I open it and then gently close it, it's going to stay locked no matter what. I mean, that is on there 100%. But it leaves me the ability to close it. That's all, folks. So this knife, I think this is a very, very, and I mean very attractive knife. When I first, I mean, that's all it took was me to see it, and I said, "Damn, ew." And that's really what sold me on it initially, was the looks. Just beautiful. And they sell some with G10, and who knows, maybe like a G10 might give a completely different feel to it. It's like the Avispa. The Avispa has G10 on one side, steel on the other. And that's how these are too. You can get it with G10 on one side, steel on the other. And I guarantee you it would alter the grip and give you a different feeling all the way around. It might even thicken it enough to where your fingers don't collapse on each other if you have really long fingers. Remember, if my hands weren't this big, I probably would have a very, very different feel about the initial grab of this to this knife. I mean, I might have a very different, I might say, oh my God, it's the most comfortable knife I have. Why? Because it's a comfortable knife even though it's not made for my hand. It's not made for my hands, and it still works. I think that's a big key proponent when talking about hand size and knife handles. Not everybody has the same size hands. I guarantee you Papa John over at The Shredder, who has a medium-sized hand, he'd probably grab this and think, gee, that's crazy, this thing feels great. So that's a huge part of it. Got to get all the dirt out of there. I'm going to have to clean this thing up real good, Scab, and oil it and send it back to him. I was going to play with it for a few days, but it's his knife, and you know what I mean. It'll just make me want it, and that sucks because I can't keep it. So what I'm going to do is probably play with it one more day. I'm going to carry it today. This thing is going to go out with me, and it's going to be matched up. I actually took my SCV spot in my pocket today just so I can carry this. Shows how much I dig it, but it's going to pair up with my Combat Troodon, and that is what's going to be in my pocket. So so one more day carrying this. I'm going to clean the hell out of it, and then I'm going to hone it. I'm just going to give it some, since I already sharpened it, I'm just going to put it against the leather. I mean, this edge took no damage whatsoever doing what we just did. So I think it's going to be pretty darn good. My overall on this, can I recommend this knife? Yeah, absolutely. If you're finding one for $900, can I recommend a different knife? Yeah, absolutely. Would I put this away against my 4MAX, my Cold Steel 4MAX? No, I'd still choose my Cold Steel 4MAX, but there's about 90% of the other knives I've used I'd have to put aside to get this one, to, you know what I mean, to keep this one in my pocket. So, I mean, for me, that's a big compliment. It's a really good knife. It's a really good knife. Scab, ChoirBoyz with the Cutlery, who's got the Great White Ninja over there named Megatron. Thanks for letting me play with this, man. I'm impressed like I wanted to be, and more than I thought I would be. So that's actually pretty good. It's actually really good. That's it for that one. The Praetorian by Medford. And I think it came by way of Captain Electro, who's awesome. This is dope, man. This is dope. So that's it for me. Hi, I'm Donnie B. all day. Until next knife.